Welcome, this is John Hyman from Commercial Real Estate Online. This particular video is the first in a series relating to how to manage a shopping centre, a retail shopping centre. And of course, if you are exposed to that industry or know something about it, you will understand that a shopping centre is a very complex building, complex investment type with tenants to worry about, customers, property performance and many other things. So this is the first video, and this is a matrix which I will be working through in a series of videos simply because in each of these particular topics there are many different things to think about, and I will go into each topic quite deeply in each video. But today is the first video of the series which will take you into the general topics, and then of course you can watch for the next videos coming out with the relative separate topics. So I have started to modify this video anyway and this matrix, so you will see some of the topics starting to feed into this, but certainly this is the first general video to take you into the key facts of how to manage a shopping centre. So let's move through these. There are 25 topics to talk to and take you into, and then the other videos after this will go into the separate topics quite deeply. So let's go further, and if you haven't visited the website before and would like a copy of the article that supports this particular program, this particular video, there is the article, 21 Ways to Manage a Shopping Centre Successfully. When I wrote the article back in 2014, I came up with 21 different facts to manage a shopping centre. Since then, I've come up with some more. As you can see, item 22, 23, 24, and 25. So there are always things evolving at the website and different topics are expanding. And that particular topic goes into quite some detail, and you can print this from the website. So that is the article to chase down, 21 Ways to Manage a Shopping Centre Successfully. However, recognising that I've now put in extra ones here to take you into 4 more particular topics. So let's go into this program and get it started. It is the general video, the first one of the series, to take you into the main key topics. So how do you manage a shopping centre? You go in there with some form of checklist. You just have to, because there are so many different things to think about, control and action. So initially you can work through these in the order I am providing to you, or you can shift this order around to suit your property type, your location, your client. But all these topics are relevant and active. So make sure that you put them on a list that relates to your particular location, your particular client, and then choose the order that works for you. So the order is random, but the order is something that you can shift and change. So let's go into item number 1. Upcoming vacancies. Now, as you can see in this particular section, I have already put the subsequent topics to talk about, which will be coming up in the next video in this series, and I will be going into these particular items quite deeply. So in looking at upcoming vacancies, you're worried about what's going to happen within the property. You may have some vacancies now, of course, to think through and look at. So upcoming vacancies and current vacancies need to be the subject of a marketing plan to resolve, to keep that vacancy factor to a minimum over time, because you need to bolster the income stream for the landlord. Unless, of course, you do need some vacancies, which could be a product of maybe a renovation or relocation plan within the property. So the first issue is look at the upcoming vacancies, look at the current vacancies. As I said, in the next video, I will be going into all of these subsets, and I will take you into all of these issues quite deeply. So first one, upcoming vacancies. Let's go to number 2. In taking on a shopping centre, in managing a shopping centre, you will be looking at the lease terms and conditions. Again, in this particular topic, when you look at the next video, there'll be quite some issues below this main point. In lease terms and conditions, you should recognise that each tenant will have a unique lease relative to their circumstances, their tenancy, their occupancy, and you will need to review that lease for the key terms and conditions which impact the income stream, the cash flow, the investment profile for the landlord over time. And there will be some critical dates within the lease to look into to make sure that you have your critical dates under control and up to date. Don't get cut short. Don't overlook critical dates from the lease, because they can really upset the investment cash flow over time. So get to know your leases quickly and directly as soon as possible. Let's go to number 3. The tenant mix functions and balances. So within the shopping centre, presumably you'll have one or more anchor tenants. Then you'll also have specialty tenants around those anchor tenants. So you need to think about where everyone is placed, how that tenancy mix works, how the clusters work, and what you can do with the tenant mix over time, how you can improve it. And certainly in a shopping centre you would be moving tenants around to make sure that the property is improving, the tenant trade is improving, the market rents are improving. That's the idea of looking at the tenant mix and changing things over time when lease expiry dates and vacancies allow. Let's go to number 4. There is possibly some form of customer number monitoring system, maybe on the doorways to the shopping centre, and there may be some demographics analysis that you can do to the customer profiles, the customers that attend the property. More details to follow in this particular topic, as with all of them, of course. So this is the main general video. This is video number 1 to set up the discussion points in all of these separate items, which will be taken very deeply into the subsets shortly. Let's go to market rents. You need to look at the market rents in the location to understand exactly what they are for your property type, your property size, its location, and its age. Number 6, the maintenance routines in the property. The maintenance routines will be the comprehensive maintenance routines, perhaps, the repairs and maintenance programs, many things to look at, contractors to talk to, and budgets to look at to see how the routines are performing to the requirements of the property, the age of the property, and its function over time. Number 7, in the next series of videos, we will be looking at insurance and risk. Every shopping centre has a degree of risk, of course, because you have customers and tenants within the property. Risk escalates and changes over time, and you may have some risk factors from the location to think about. So we will be going into that as well. Then there are some energy and environmental matters to look at. Of course, energy and the environment today are very important when it comes to investment performance, asset performance over time. You need to think about what can happen in the property from an environmental perspective and how much energy costs and how the property is run on a daily basis. Keep your energy controls very well controlled so that the costs are not escalating. There's another topic coming up which will be income and expenditure budgets and actuals. I will take you into the subsets relating to that as well, where you can look at operating costs for the property, outgoings, also capital expenditure items. And in item number 10, there is a discussion point here to consider. Do you have the good tenants in the property that you need? Can you change the tenancy mix? Can you improve the tenancy mix over time? Probably you can. Of course, look at the tenants, understand your better tenants. Number 11 will be the anchor tenants. You'll need to look at the leases within the property for the anchor tenants, understand the exposures of vacancy, when they could be happening, and of course how the anchor tenant leases actually work. The anchor tenant rents will be significantly less than the specialty tenants, of course, because the anchor tenants are quite large. Going into item number 12, you will be looking at specialty tenants to understand exactly where they are, what their lease terms particularly are, how their rents work, how their leases work, and the controls within each lease, particularly with permitted and exclusivity, permitted use and exclusivity. There'll be things to look at in risk and liability relating to how the property can be run, how the essential services work within the property, and the risk that they may present to the property through failure. For example, the failure of the air conditioning system during the year may then prevent the shopping centre to trade, or the climatic conditions may, of course, then put pressure on the property and drive customers away if you lose the air conditioning system. So there are many different things to think about in risk and liability. We will be covering those as well. Operational budgets. Every shopping centre should have one, so that each month and each quarter the budget can be assessed and the actuals to budget can be looked at. There will be special landlord requirements to think about. In the asset, they will have reporting requirements, cash flow requirements, approvals that relate to particular spending patterns, also lease matters, etc. Many different things in this topic that we will be talking to. Property reports are usually unique to the landlord, although you will have some standard reports that you can drive from your software system. That being said, property reports need to be an agreement between you as the centre manager and the client, so that your property reports are fully understood and designed to suit the landlord's requirements, the owner's requirements, your client over time. Number 17, there should always be a retail business plan for an asset. When you first take on a property to manage, a retail property, it is likely that the business plan will take a couple of months to stabilise, understand and put in place. But once it is in place, it should be ready for monitoring that asset throughout the financial year. And I usually say that the business plan should be checked monthly, but certainly quarterly, because you will see the trends in the business plan quarterly. And then, of course, you can create changes if necessary. The business plan will cover many different things, and indeed in the video geared to the business plan, you will see me go into many different subsets of issues relating to a retail shopping centre business plan. Let's go further. Property presentation. Of course, cleaning is an important issue in a shopping centre, but you also come into capital items like major painting programs throughout the asset, keeping the asset looking good for the customers throughout the year. It is interesting to note that most shopping centres are maintenance and presentation intense. They usually need some sort of major renovation program every 8 to 10 years. It's simply the way things are, because you're trying to keep the customer happy, and visually you're preparing the property for appearances over time so that the customers can visit the property and look at it and feel good as they walk around and shop. Number 19, we'll go into renovation and upgrade strategies when we get to that particular segment of this program. And then we need to think about capital works. They are the major capital works in the asset, the shopping centre. They need planning. Some capital works require significant shifts of tenant and customer activity within the asset. Number 21 will be marketing of the shopping centre and also marketing of the tenants. In the subsets there, we'll be talking about how to make sure that the property is achieving the right profile with the customer demographic in the area. Indeed, attracting customers back to the property. Number 22 will be a facility management plan, which also involves maintenance management. But you need to lay on top of that the customer activities, the customer interaction, so that facilities management provides the premises that the customers would expect and find convenient to shop within. So going further from item number 22, we go into staffing requirements. Every centre management office will have certain staffing requirements, and there are alternatives to that depending on the size of the asset, the size overall, and how the property functions. In item number 24, I'll be telling you how to look at competing properties and monitor what they're up to when it comes to tenancy placement, customer activity, marketing, market rents, of course, also property performance overall. And then we need to look at perhaps the last item on this particular series of videos, which is property design. And I've started to put some things in this subset for you, which will involve car parking, common areas, doorways, leased areas, the malls of the property, transport points, etc. When I get to this particular video, you'll find many different subsets to think about in your shopping centre management plan. So, that is the end of the summary. As I said before, there are 25 things in this summary, and you can make your list from this immediately. But of course, if you're following this particular video and go into the subsequent videos that I will be doing, you'll see that in each section I'll be putting in many different things, and I'll talk to each of these issues specifically. So that is the video. It's all about how to manage a shopping centre. It is the first in the series. As I said before, you can go to the website and pick up the article, which was 21 ways to manage a shopping centre successfully. Understanding, of course, that I've added a few more to the list since I wrote the article back in 2014. So the shopping centre industry, the shopping centre market is quite vibrant, quite different and quite challenging, but it is also very, very, let's say, very rewarding for the shopping centre managers, leasing specialists, and also the retail shopping centre salespeople. All of those people do need to understand the operations of a shopping centre so they can work with either sales, leasing or property management as required successfully. So my name is John Hyman. Thanks for listening to the program. I'll check out the other videos as they are loaded to the YouTube channel, and I'll catch you again online. This is John Hyman signing off for now. That is the end of this video. Catch you in the next of the series.